Hello and welcome to the latest web user vodcast. I'm Daniel Booth, Deputy Editor, and with me is Ben Cam-Jones, he's our news editor. Now we're here to discuss what has been a very busy last 10 days in the world of the web, with the launch of Internet Explorer 8 and, taking us all by surprise, Google Chrome. We've had a play around with both browsers, trying out new features and checking out the speed of the browsers, and me and Ben are going to have a quite quick chat about both of them now.
Right, yeah.
Let's start with Internet Explorer 8, the beta which launched about 6-7 days ago.
That's right.
What do you make of it so far?
Well, I think one of the things that we found is that it can be a little bit slow. I spoke to Microsoft on the day they actually launched it, and one of the things they were saying was that it is a beta version. You shouldn't expect it to be as fast as it's actually going to be when the full product launches. So that's one of the things we did found. But we've actually thought that it was probably the best version of Internet Explorer we've actually seen. There's great improvements in there. There's a couple of features which are really good. Web slices and accelerators are both features that allow you to access other web services without actually leaving the site you're on. So they're really good, really innovative features.
Yeah.
They're something that the opposition doesn't really have at the moment. So
Have they raised the bar from Firefox 3, do you think?
I think they have actually, but I expect Firefox, when they release 3.1, which is due to happen in about December this year, I think, at the final launch anyway. I think that will probably be a bit of a hit back, but I think at the moment IE8's got the upper hand.
Yeah, there's always this kind of arms race at the moment, isn't there? When one browser launches, then the other one can see what improvements have been added and can then incorporate those improvements into their own version of the browser, and that's kind of how it's going at the moment, isn't it?
For sure, and I think Microsoft, they've embraced open standards for the first time, which basically means that they're using a system which allows a website developer, for example, to create a website that will be it will look the same in any browser that you look at. So that's good news on part of everyone. I think it's just it's very good news for developers, certainly.
And what about the in private mode, which has got a lot of publicity in the last week or so, known as a porn mode by some people in the blogosphere?
Yes, well that's I think this is quite an interesting thing. I think a lot of people thought that it would be licensed for all sorts of criminals and nasty things going on and giving them free rein.
But you should explain first exactly what it does.
Essentially what it does is it means that no history, no passwords, no data that you enter is actually going to be kept. It's optional, so it doesn't happen all the time. But if you want to do something like online banking on a shared PC, for example, then that means that you can actually wipe out traces of it, and no one will be able to see what you've been doing afterwards.
Sure.
I think people sort of had some very negative connotations about it. That's where the name porn mode came from, because they think that people are just going to be looking at adult content, and maybe worse. So it has actually been put to the test by some Danish or Dutch, I think, security researchers, and they found that actually, if you're a forensic investigator, you probably could figure out what people have been doing quite easily, which is possibly good for in terms of law enforcement. But you shouldn't be fooled that what you're doing is absolutely private. If someone really wanted to find out what you've been doing, then they could.
And moving on from IE8, Google Chrome just kind of came out of the blue, really, didn't it? What new browser that Google have launched this week. It's their 10th birthday, it's Google's 10th birthday, so there's going to be a lot of headlines and publicity surrounding Google over the next couple of weeks. Do you think this browser was supposedly leaked accidentally, but do you think that's Google being a little bit clever?
Well, I don't actually. I think it was genuinely leaked. If you remember the day that we actually found out about it, we spoke to some of the Google key people in sort of their PR department, and one of them in particular was in Seattle at the time. He had to fly straight over to London to attend a sort of very hastily convened event in the evening. So I'm absolutely sure that they didn't intend it to be leaked, but once they found out it had been leaked, they thought they went into damage limitation mode and said, right, let's get everyone together before the blogosphere starts just circulating unnecessary and untrue rumours.
And the first impressions have been pretty favourable, haven't they?
Yes, it's incredibly fast. It's one of the things we've noticed. It seems to be compatible with most sites that we tried on it. So it looks great. It's very kind of simple. That kind of simple, clean design that Google's well known for. And really, all in all, I think it's a very impressive browser.
Yeah, let's make some bold predictions. At the moment, about 10 to 15% of people use Firefox.
I think we're approaching about 20% globally. 20% of
it's
been rising quite steadily.
How much of that do you think will Google Chrome eat into, say, within a year?
Well, it's difficult to give kind of tangible numbers on this, but I would say that really Google, I think, are aiming more the audience for Internet Explorer rather
Okay,
than Firefox. Though I can easily see, you know, they're both kind of open source community browsers.
But how much of IE's sort of 80% dominance do you think Google will be able to steal?
It really is difficult to say because you know it doesn't necessarily follow that if you have a good search engine, you know, you can have a good browser as well. Microsoft has always had that problem. You know, their search offerings have never been especially popular.
Sure.
So whereas they have the most popular browser in the world. So to say that, you know, that Google could play off the back of their search engine dominance and you know, have the most popular browser is
of course
difficult. I think people
it needs to be proved to be working and to be fast and to be reliable
and secure as well.
Secure.
I think. So it's difficult to say. I would really don't really want to stick my neck out and make a prediction, but I think you are going to see a significant shift towards it. But I don't think it's going to be the dominant player, and it'll probably be a while before it even takes over Firefox.
And I can barely remember a product which has generated so much spontaneous enthusiasm as this. It does seem I've not really read many negative reviews.
No, that's true, and I think I mean it just sort of came at the right time, even though, you know, it wasn't an intentional release. I think sort of it has stolen a bit of the thunder from the beta release of IE8. Yeah. So you know it's happened at the right time, and you know, I can see why it will generate a lot of enthusiasm because Google products generally do.
They do, absolutely. Okay, well that's the end of the podcast for this fortnight. I'm Daniel Booth signing off. This is Ben Cam-Jones, our news editor. You can buy, of course, the current issue of Web User. It will tell you how to stay safe online, whether you're using Google Chrome, IE8, Firefox 3, or anything else. You can also buy our Ultimate PC and Web Workshops. It's a one-off, 108 pages of wonderful practical help to help you get more from your PC and to get more from the internet. Okay, I'm Daniel Booth. Say goodbye. Take care.